Chip and I are here at this really small little yard with overgrown trees and shrubs. We've had questions regarding pruning existing mature plants, thinking that the pruning process was completely different than on a new plant. In actuality, the pruning process is pretty much the same. I'm John Valentino, president of John & Bob's, and I'm here with Chip Valentino, vice president in charge of renovation. Behind me, you can see the Camellia Setsugeka. We've already pruned, and we've already pruned the Natchez crepe myrtle, but we still have to prune the Durahit birches and the Podocarpus and the little Ollies. So let's get started. You know, we have these separate spaces in the garden. We're creating space by using trees and shrubs, but still, you've got to keep those trees and shrubs under control or it just kind of looks like a mess. Even though it's over 100 degrees today, there's nothing wrong with pruning when it's hot as long as you don't prune excessively. If you prune excessively, then that heat can damage a tree, but if you prune properly, there's nothing wrong with pruning when it's hot. More important how you prune than when you prune, although the timing of the pruning can serve to either encourage growth or discourage growth. Right now, we've just had spring here, so they've put on all kinds of growth. The purpose of that growth is through photosynthesis to feed more growth. And so if we come and we prune off a lot of that new growth, then we're kind of tricking the plant into defeating its mechanism for growing more. And these trees, we don't want them to get too much bigger, so this is a good time to prune. We're going to need two kinds of pruning shears, small hand pruners, and then bigger pruning shears. Some people call these loppers. If the trees were bigger, we might need a pruning saw. What I want to do here is I want to raise the level of this tree a little bit. I want to get rid of some of this growth that's real low, especially since we've got other shrubs growing under it. Bring it in a little bit so it's not sprawling out. Take out the dead wood, and I want to thin it a little bit to where you can just slightly better get a sense on what's on the other side. A wrong kind of cut on this would be a heading back cut, where we say, oh, we want to lift this up, so we're going to cut this branch in half and you know, get rid of part of it. The proper cut is we're going to go all the way back to where this branch starts, and so this is a thinning cut where we remove the branch entirely and we go very close to the main trunk. We make a nice simple cut. We don't put any black stuff or anything on it. It's a clean cut, so through the sun and the growth of the tree, it'll heal nicely. This branch, I want to make a little more room for these little ollies, so I could come back right here, cut that. That's a thinning cut that goes all the way back to where that branch starts, and those are the kind of cuts we want to make. This isn't that heavy a branch, but when you have heavy branches like this, if I start out with a cut right there, because of the weight of the branch, a lot of times when I try to cut it, it'll tear and I won't get a nice clean cut. So a good technique is to make an initial cut that just removes the weight of the branch, and then you can come back and make your final cut very clean, and it won't tear because there's no weight on it. And then we're going to come in here wherever there's these dead branches, and we're going to remove them. And then we're going to look for ways of just thinning out the tree. You can see this branch goes and it's crossing branches, it's going up, and it's making the tree more dense. It's making it so light can't get in the center of the tree. So we're going to take that out completely because we don't want crossing branches and we want to open things up. This one is kind of oddly attached. This is a nice branch I want to keep, but I will take this one off completely. It's also kind of low. Look at this branch. Coming way over here, you can see this branch here, and we want these trees to grow kind of columnar and stay inside their area and not arch over and touch the other tree. So we look at that branch and we figure out if we want to remove it completely or we want to just prune it in a way that it will kind of go back to and be closer into the growth of the tree. Well, I can make that cut right here, I can see. I pruned it back to a branch that's growing straight up, and we can do that with the other branches too. So here you can see we've got kind of a heavy, we'll cut that, we'll take that off. I've got a little bud right here growing, I can prune back to that. We've now brought this in a little bit. We're just gonna keep doing what I just showed you. I showed you on the lowest level here. We're gonna use the pole pruners as a convenient way of pruning the top part of the tree, but we're gonna use the same principles. So we'll have some thinning cuts like that where we're removing entire branches. Some we're cutting back to another bud, and we're trying to get this tree to just grow up more instead of laying on the roof. I think these have been impacted dramatically by these trees. By lifting these trees up, I think we're going to be able to get these to grow all the same height and grow in a natural form without using hedge trimmers on them. Try to use the same principles I used on the tree. You know, right now this looks odd where we have this errant branch, so we'll cut back to some kind of a bud there with leaves, and that should sprout under that cut. We'll prune it back a little bit to try to keep it inside the planter, clean up the bottom a little, lift it up, and maybe just thin it out a little. There's really not much you can do wrong with a plant like this. Heading back cuts on a shrub like this are fine, unlike a tree, so we're not always real concerned about the origin. This does have a lot of dead wood, I think, which was created by the fact that these trees growing over it were dominating it. Yeah, there's some times where you don't need to prune much. Even like these Podocarpus macrophylla, they don't need a lot of pruning. It's just the reason they need pruning here is because we have such a small space. We want them to grow up to try to screen the development on the other side. We want them to grow out to screen the block wall. You could make heading back cuts because it's more of a large shrub than anything else. We're just going to prune this back so it doesn't invade on our space here, and that'll probably have to be done also about once a year. We don't really want to prune this because we want this to touch to block that block wall. I still like to prune back to some kind of a small bud or branch, and then it'll grow up. So that's how we prune the Podocarpus macrophylla. But it is a good example of a shrub, a large shrub, that needs very little pruning. This is Loropetalum, same idea. This is helping us screen the neighbors a little, so we'll probably leave the taller stuff. We're not going to do anything too dramatic, except we want to keep it from growing into our area here that we use. So we'll take some of these branches off, and we'll thin it a little bit, try to direct them away from the Osmanthus by making cuts to encourage the branches they grow the other direction. This is an espalier Osmanthus, so we grew it in a shape to grow along the fence. It wants to kind of grow out into a non-espalier, so we'll prune it back. All the branches that are growing out this way, we'll try to shorten them or cut them off. It's still okay to have growth along there, but we don't want major branches coming out this way. Okay, so that's pretty much what we're going to do to the Osmanthus. That's it. We'll continue to do that on all of them. We'll show you what it looks like when we're all done, but those are the principles. Very similar to pruning a new tree or a new shrub. Once we finish pruning, we're going to do a quick application of our Optimize, Maximize, and Nourish Biosol, which we call blend when mixed together, especially on the Podocarpus macrophylla, because we want those to grow. We want those to create this screen where we separate this garden from the outside world there, and keep everything else healthy. If you find this video useful, watch it again and tell all your friends to watch it. If you have questions about these pruning techniques, put your questions in the comments below.